Hello and welcome to Super Right
Now,
with Pepe and Fiona. Banter numero 15? 15?
15, sí,
15. Already Banter 15.
We have survived, we have endured.
Yes. If you haven't heard yet, you need to like the video. Do it right now. Subscribe right now.
Spread the
and
word.
Then spread the word, the good word.
Subscribe, enroll, or whatever.
Yes.
Comment.
We need people.
The subscriber.
Maybe we should scare our audience and tell them
How? More?
Super Now is about to be cancelled because we don't have enough viewers. Please work
By
for us.
Cancelled by us.
Please. So what's going on this week? A brand new week. I had a wonderful week. I worked like a lot. And mostly on myself. I worked on
yourself,
on my anxiety, on my paranoia, on my fear of the unknown, of ever-changing things.
Yeah, are you embracing the uncertain? I cannot say that word.
Yeah, I'm embracing the uncertainty. Yes.
Oh, good.
I'm learning to do that. I went from, so I guess I'm going to have a personal story again today. So just like a quick thing. I went through no fear or uncertainty for years and years. And as soon as I started to have a career and to gain control and wanting control and learning, it exploded. Like anxiety, fear of uncertainty.
Exploded what?
So now I'm doing the opposite. And now I have gained the experience. So now I need to adapt to change quicker, accepting that things are ever changing and evolving and uncertain.
You cannot control everything.
No, except my...
Wait, what? You're drinking?
Yes.
I would have said issue.
Well, not yet. Maybe someday. We never know.
So if you haven't noticed, I changed my hair.
Oh yeah, you cut your hair.
I cut my
someone
hair.
Cut your hair.
Yeah, someone.
Because it was done well.
I asked, as always, you asked, just please cut the ends. And this lady was like, no, your hair is too damaged. And then it's like, please don't keep. No, I'm going to cut it because it looks horrible. So this is the result.
Well, I think it looks good. You look younger. You look 45 now.
Perfect. I look your age.
Yes.
I look Pepe's age. Yes, I did this.
No, it's a bit fresh.
I am using my glasses,
yes,
but I cannot. I mean, my prescription. Yeah, but I cannot. It's been harder for me to adapt to these ones
because you never wear them. It's a new prescription.
It's very.
But
it's a lot.
The very good news is that we have my favorite. We have gummy bears.
Yeah, they are so sweet. No wonder. Gummy bears.
I need you know what?
He eats that shit because it says it's organic.
Yeah, so it's still sugar. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if it says organic, it doesn't mean that it's not going to contribute to gaining weight or putting things in your body that you don't need.
Okay, I haven't had any in a very, very long time, honestly, because I get addicted to these things.
Honestly?
Yes, and second of all, I don't want to find excuses, but I don't have sex, so I need at least gummy bears. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for your understanding.
You know why? This looks like an orgy of gummy bears. You see?
Yeah, but they don't have time to reproduce.
This one, can I have a Hoya? Oh, yeah.
I wish they would have time to reproduce because then
there's
very fast.
Yeah. I mean, they are not racist because, they are mixed.
Yes.
Yellow with orange.
There's nobody racist in my my house.
No. They are very sweet.
Yeah. So she already ate a lot of them.
No,
and every time, it's too sweet.
This is the third one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third one.
Yeah. The third. The first one was a handful.
No, it was only like 2. No.
Seriously.
It was only 2. Oh my God.
I saw you. I saw you.
Yes, you saw this.
Nobody can hear you. No.
This is a handful?
No
wonder why he thinks he has it big. No.
I never said that. But
for him,
nobody can hear you.
For him, this is a handful because this is literally what I grabbed.
No, it's not true. this is very far from the truth, but we're used to it nowadays.
You know what I ate that because I am polite and I don't want to put that back because now I touch it.
Yeah, of course. Yes, please.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
What? No. I know you're capable of doing it, and I don't want you to do it, please. Oh my God. No.
But
Yes.
since I am more healthy, I am
Or
eating
healthier.
healthier. I am eating dark chocolate, thanks to Pepe. He sponsored me.
Yes.
I love mint chocolate. So, mint with chocolate.
So
So people, please send me.
So gummy bears were supposed to be with me. So far, she's the only one who ate them. I love sharing, because I'm a only child.
Yeah.
So I always have to
love
share
sharing.
with only myself, the really little that I had.
What is little that you have?
Well, I don't know if, that's what
What would
I'm
you
trying
share
to
with
find.
me? I'm your only friend. What would you share with me?
No, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if I had enough, but people around me, I had more, and so I felt like I was left out, or is it because I never have enough? So I think, like, looking at myself, I think it's more than I never have enough, so that's why I think that I didn't have enough back then.
So what does
Because when I have, I want more and more and more and
that
more.
doesn't have anything to do with sharing.
Yeah, so should I continue the story that I was talking about? How I will learn English? Or I learn English?
Yes, share with us that story, please.
Okay, it's not really trending on Google right now. No, but in order to gain
But
viewers...
we are going to study the SEO words. So very smoothly, we're going to put those words in our conversation.
So hopefully I will be the trend. But anyway,
Hang out.
I'm going to... We talked last week about how we learn English and why. So I'm going to quickly...
How we try to learn English.
Yes, how I learn English.
Without succeeding.
So when I was 16, so I talked about my vacation summer camp language summer
in Europe.
Camp in Europe.
And let's think this. Don't forget that he wasn't rich, but he was able to go to England and Spain.
Yeah, that's
either
true.
to learn English and Spanish. And for me that was impossible. As a Mexican, for me that's a rich kid.
For snack, she was chewing sticks.
Yeah. I was so poor. But he was poor. He has white people problems.
No, okay. No, I guess so. But anyway, so when I was 16, I started living on my own because before that I was a year and a half in boarding school in a Catholic private school, which was really expensive for my mother, that was jobless at the time. And then she found a job,
for your
the
school?
savings, I guess. And then she found a job, but it was on the road. Like she was training people on the cosmetic products.
Yeah, don't say it on the road because
No, not on the street, on the road, like a salesman. Oh my God. Okay, so she was gone 5 days out of 7.
Okay.
She was training over salesperson in cosmetology. Anyway, and so I asked her if I could live in the apartment because I didn't want to stay in boarding school. It was expensive. So I started living on my own. And as I explained, I was a very well-behaved teenager. I was not doing any crazy things. The only crazy things that I was doing is like hitchhiking to go to surfing spots, basically. And that put me into some type of trouble despite what I wanted. But that's the only thing
tricky
that I was doing. But anyway, so I did that and I lived on my own. I never like partied like crazy. I had friends over like a few times, but not crazy. I was never drinking. I was never smoking weed.
So boring.
Or whatever. Yes. So I just had people over. But even my friends were not like drinking like crazy either. Like some of them did, like mostly on the surfing thing. They were having this type of party. But apart from that, no. And then when I moved again and still living on my own during high school, I had friends that were not smoking, not drinking, nothing. But we were gathering, and it was only like just talking and having fun, but not the type of fun that I had.
Okay, we understand.
After.
We understand that you were a well-behaved boy.
Yes,
okay, move on.
Maybe too well-behaved. And so once I graduated high school, I realized that I didn't know what I wanted to do next. And the reason why I didn't know is because first I was on my own
because I didn't know
the past few years. I had nobody that could really direct me into a career path. And I never had this type of talk with my friends because...
Or your mom?
Yeah, well, my mom a little bit, but she didn't know. I mean, she didn't went to college, so she didn't go to college, so she didn't know really what was available.
Your grandparents?
No. But anyway, so I realized that all my friends knew already what they wanted to do. And for me, I was just focusing on having my high school diploma, which is like a final exam. Mm-hmm. So you study for that. If you don't have it, you need to go again in the...
What?
Yeah, it's a final...
So it's not each, like in any other country, like in
It's
Mexico?
a final exam.
No, but in each, like in Mexico, like it's per year, like, well, semesters. The high school is per semesters.
Final exam.
So each semester you have an exam, a test. And if you fail the last semester, you only repeat the last semester, not the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's final exam in France. Except for this year, I just read today that they decided, like in June, like it was going to be all year long. It's not going to be a final exam this year because of the situation. But so I was just focusing on having it because that's hard to get, I guess, even though 80% of people get it. But you really need to study. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think I could get it because I missed, I think, 1/3 of the classes in my last year because I was doing I had spasmophilia. Like
he has the most weirdest illness in the
world.
No,
I was just, I don't like to be confined in the classroom. I started stressing out a lot and I had spasmophilia that was like basically like freezing me like that. So I was staying home 1/3 of the time. And so I didn't participate in class.
Okay, I need to know more about that. Like, so you were doing your shit at the classroom and all of a sudden you were like...
No, I had like horrible stomach cramps, but and then headaches, and I could not focus. And the only relief that I had is if I was getting out of that classroom.
Very convenient.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's a thing. I guess stress and boredom, a lot of boredom actually, because I
like to be bored.
No, I don't know. Like there like. It was never happening in classes where there was participation. Mm-hmm. So when I could participate, it was fine. Mm-hmm. When it was 4 hours of philosophy.
You don't like philosophy?
I love philosophy, but if it was only the teacher talking for 4 hours, after an hour and a half, I was like having it. It was over for me. So anyway, so that was my condition. And
that's a condition, yes.
I did have my high school diploma. I didn't have to repass the test. And once I had it, I was like, that was not that expected.
I was expecting to fail. Seriously?
Well, I really missed most of the time. I wasn't studying that much. I know I had like my girlfriend at the time, like we were, like if we had like an essay to do, for instance, like we had 15 days to turn it in. And on the last day, I was asking her, so show me what you did or whatever, just to get inspired. I would not write the same thing, but I would do it like last minute, and she would work on it for the past 2 weeks. And then after, I would have a better grade than she does. And she was always like complaining, it's like, next time you don't see anything. I said, but look, it's very different. There's nothing to do. It just inspired me to start because I didn't know how to start. I need something to start. And it's still the case. I still need to have the inspiration to start. And like she was really mad at me. Like after like the first times it was cute, but after a while it was really like she was so mad because she was studying hard.
Apologize to her.
Yes, I apologize for that and for all the other shit that I did after that. But so that's how it was. And even like at the day off, she was, because I had an ankle injury.
My God!
I ruptured my ligaments on playing handball.
A dog bite you.
That's when I was.
Yeah. But
13.
So many things happened to you. You what?
Yeah, I ripped my ligaments during sports basically. Like instead of trying to play handball and scoring normally, I wanted to do a 360.
Jump, cartwheel,
catch
the ball,
and
run very fast.
I exploded my ankle, And so during high school, it's in June. It's hot, south of France, and she had a car. So
the same girlfriend.
Yes. So
Oh,
she
you're
was
a saint.
So she was bringing me there, and I remember, like, for instance, when you had the philosophy test, so which was a big one because we were in literature or art or whatever it's called here. I was looking, so you have different subjects, like you have like 30 of them, and you're going to have, two choices, and you don't know which one it is. And I picked one, I was reading about it, and I remember we were in the same classroom when we received the subjects. When she looked at it, she looked at me and said, like, motherfucker. Because that's
the one that you chose?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I was reading on our way to the test, because I didn't study that much during the year. But anyway.
So you passed your exam.
I passed my exam.
You had your high school diploma. Bravo.
Yeah.
And then how you figure how to do?
And then I was like, what do I do? I don't know what I'm going to study. I had no aspiration, nobody to tell me you should do that or what. And then I talked to my friends. I was like, so you guys, what you're doing? So one was going to law school. The other one was going to a sports school.
So every one of your friends now, they have
knew,
a degree?
Yeah.
But now they all
have a degree.
And they are successful?
I don't know very well. Yeah, I mean, I guess to a certain extent. And I didn't know. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I didn't know. And my mother told me, you should learn English or take the year to think about what you're going to do. And she told me, like, it's always about a friend of hers that is telling her something. It's always like that with my mother. A friend of hers told her to do. So she showed me a program that was an au pair program.
Au pair?
Au pair, which is like basically being the live-in nanny.
What's
in
the meaning?
In a family.
That's the meaning. I don't know which language is
au pair. Is French.
And what does that mean?
But it means you're pairing. I guess at the beginning it was an exchange between two families. I don't know.
But what is the translation of au pair?
A peer.
A peer?
In peer. Peer. It's a peering of something. Well, anyway, I didn't look at it. I'm sorry, I didn't search it up.
You peered?
So I peered. So I went into this. I looked at it. I went to this program. So you had to file like that with like 10 recommendations, pictures with the kids that you took care of, recommendations from the families of the kids. Like for a guy, of course, it's really difficult to get into the program because most nannies are women, and most people trust women to take care of their kids and not men.
But since you were very well behaved.
But I was very well behaved, and I had this like a type of diploma that you get to take care of kids in summer camps, like to be a camp leader. So I had that
summer camp leader.
Yeah, summer camp leader, and I had recommendations because they wanted me to be a director of summer camps. So I was doing well, like taking care of kids, having fun, and things like that. So I had the proper recommendations, and I filed it. And I know there was a final interview to test your English level, and that was the prime.
So honestly, which was your English level?
My English level was extremely poor. Very poor. We're talking about like 97, even though like 96, and I had no access. First of all, I think at that time I was just starting for the past 2 years to watch American movies in original version in English, because most movies are dubbed. No, like all of them are dubbed, and sometimes you can find the original version. And I started watching a lot of movies since I was living on my own. I was watching movies a lot, and so since I was 16, and so my level of English was really poor. First, because I started off with a very nice teacher when I was living in the Caribbean, but she had no authority whatsoever. So the class was always a mess, a total mess. We were doing everything but learning English, and then I didn't have the level when I moved back in continental France. It was really hard for me to catch up with everything, and I mean at all levels, like in math and like in everything, and so my level was really
inspiration for our audience.
My level was not. I mean, it's not that it was poor; it was not where I should have been, basically. So I had to catch up and it was not good. And I arrived late at the appointment for the interview. I thought I would never get it, and they did include me into the program. So the next step after you file, you accepted, then they send your profile to families in the US.
In the US.
So they pick you, and that was in September, and nobody was picking me. And every month you have a draft, like you have a selection, and because it was a monthly thing, and every month, nobody.
And you were losing
And
your faith?
So not only I was losing my faith, but it was September, and I thought, I'm just going to lose 1 year of college because of this.
Do you know what you wanted to do?
No, I didn't know. No.
So what college were you losing the year?
I don't know. I would have done something anyway.
Like
but
what?
I really don't know. I don't know. But
I always knew what I wanted to do.
What did you want to do?
I wanted
psychology?
No.
That's what most people do when they don't know what they want to do.
No, I wanted to study politics, but also in Mexico there is this career or college degree where it's combined international relationship, like diplomatic.
Yes.
Combined with politics.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. So sorry. So now I remember.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to do photography because that's what I started to do when I was in high school. I bought a camera and I started doing like wild casting in the street. Mm-hmm. I was really shy and I don't know how I did it, but I was literally with my camera in the street and I was looking, girls mostly, of course, and stopping and it's like, hey, I'm a student or whatever, I need to take pictures. And I showed you some, I think, but anyway. So I went to do photography. Then I realized, okay, you need to move to Paris to do that. And no, I don't want to do that. I don't know for what reason it was like that. I never wanted to move to Paris. And then journalism, because I love to write. And the same thing, the schools were in Paris and mostly private. So I didn't have the means.
Very expensive.
Yeah, I didn't have the means to do that. It's like in France, I don't know, it has been for the past 12, 15 years. But before, it was whether private, so you have to pay for it, to have a good one.
Yeah, renew one.
It's or private, so you need to pay for it, or public one that is
very
really
hard.
well renowned, but it's so hard to get.
Just like in Mexico is the same.
Yeah.
Like either you pay, I think the best one, it's like probably, I don't know, like 6 or 8,000.
Well, if you say it here, people are going to think it's not expensive compared to the US.
Well, compared to the
and
US,
we're talking about 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, like compared to the US, it's nothing because seriously, here is insane. If you study a college degree, you are going to work just to pay your loan. It's insane. Like I don't know why this country, which should be one of the best education system, at least in college, it's so expensive, very very expensive. And I am getting afraid because I am trying to save a little money for my daughters and actually my sister. Well, that will be another topic.
That would be an interesting topic because I need to get into it also for my daughter.
But
and honestly, I think like I'm
gonna send my daughter to Europe to study.
Well, I mean I don't know how it's going to be with my ex-wife, but basically that's what I'm thinking. Like if we don't have the means to pay for a good college for her, we are ruining her career. Basically, that's what it is. So the only option we would have is for her to study in Europe to get a good degree and then
being valid
work. Yeah, because that's what happened. Like that's the problem also with American students, that the ones that don't have the means or they are not helped or they are not directed the way they should be, we're losing a lot of talented people because of
the lack of college and degrees and
because wherever they don't have the means, and people are going to say, well, but they can have scholarship. Like I know a lot of very smart people that could have been like great and they haven't been directed if they had the wrong teacher or they didn't show what they were capable of the right way or whatever. And now even in the US, you have a lot of people that we call it like the brains immigration companies, the Silicon Valley companies are bringing people from everywhere in the world because they need the ones that have the talent. I'm sure like the talent, we have it in the US, but it's not accessible for them to get the degree at the college that is renowned, basically. When you see it in the long run, if it's what it takes now, because everybody's complaining about also like millennials or Gen Z that are paying for loans longer, it's more and more expensive. So basically,
and they are not
their parents like save like crazy, don't live the life they're supposed to have to save money for their kids in somehow, but it's so expensive that their kids need to pitch in, and they're doing the same. Like they're paying for their loan, and then they need to pay a little bit for their kids, and all of this is not going towards them or their quality of life.
And they're saying like, oh, but millennials and Gen Z, they are not buying houses or estates. Like how?
Yeah. Everything is going up, and
I need to pay my loan, and then let's see if I want to buy a house.
So it's later and later, and
it's insane. Like for me, it's getting. I wanted to study my master's degree because I have my bachelor's degree, and I was like, okay, I can do this. But then you see the numbers. The one that I want to study, it's $64,000.
$64,000.
And it's just 1 year, and I'm like, seriously? And I'm like, okay, so my daughter, I will do the efforts, and and that's the discussion that I have always. At least we are in the same channel with my ex-husband. Like, we want to send her to Europe, either Spain or England or even other countries, Germany. Well, she would need to learn German, but at least that's why also I am very pushy with her to learn Spanish or to keep talking and speaking Spanish, because now she will have more opportunities, either in studying Spain, and then she's fluent in both, and it's cheaper to even like pay for everything.
I see a lot of jobs where they say Spanish is a plus or whatever, and sometimes like that's what makes all the difference. Like you have somebody, they have the same degrees, like kind of the same experience, and it makes a big difference. Like it's leverage to have another language, and that's why my mother wanted me to learn English.
So okay, sorry, we
no, but that's exactly the reason why. It's like at least the leverage is like English, so I would have more opportunities, which is exactly what happened, because now I'm a US citizen. If I didn't go to that program, I wouldn't have learned English. If I didn't learn English, I wouldn't have even dared to move anywhere.
To the US?
In England first, and then to the US, or I wouldn't have met my ex-wife because I wouldn't know how to communicate
it's
in
your
English.
Mom, bro.
But anyway, so she thought that it will open more doors, and she was right, of course, but. So that program was really hard for a man to get into. And so then I waited for a family to select me, and it didn't happen. So they selected, like I had the first interview with the family in January, which means that by that time, if I accepted, I would lose not 1 year of college, but 2 years of college, because I was in the middle of the year. And so one family called me, they were in Pennsylvania. Nice family, like four boys, 3-year-old, two twins, 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I had them on the phone. They first the program asked me if I was interested. I said, yes, I'm still interested. And I had them on the phone, and I heard the kids yelling in the background the whole time. I was not able to understand them because
your English was poor.
Not only my English was poor, but we learned British English in class. So the accent for me, even though honestly they didn't have deep South accent or whatever. Pennsylvania is pretty neutral accent. And they were
I wouldn't know.
Well educated
accent
people and living in Pennsylvania, and so it was a good accent to understand. But I couldn't hear a thing, and I thought they would not pick me because my accent was bad. But I guess also as well they didn't have a lot of candidates because of 4
Their
boys.
their condition, like having 4 boys.
Yeah, 4 boys, and they were all like hyperactive. And so here's the good thing about this program. So once I said, yes,
The girl he met.
no, then so in this program you have people from all around the world. So it's a batch of monthly batches of au pairs, basically. And you all meet in Washington, D.C. You all go to a campus together. And then you have 8 days of cultural learning, U.S. cultural learning, civic, and then CPR and all these type of things that we need to learn about. Well, the American culture, how to take care of kids here, what is expected, because it's different from every country. You have people from Brazil, from Australia. We all have a different background and a different way. Like you tell me like about Mexico, like when, I don't know, like people say like the belt or whatever.
Oh yeah, la chancla, the flip flop.
Yeah, exactly. so you go there first. You're a week. They teach you. You don't do this. You don't do that. You don't do this. You don't do that. And once you pass that test, then you're sent into your families. So when we're all grouped like that, coming from everywhere in the world.
For how long?
8 days.
8 days.
So you meet everybody that is going to that batch, that monthly batch. And then we're all spread out everywhere in the US. And I had this other guy, because it was like 99% girls, basically.
Aww,
and I have this other guy that was going to California. And I was so jealous of him. So, wow, you're going to California. He was going to San Jose. And so we did that, and so in this program, au pair program, so you live in the family and you take care of the kids. I think it's 48 hours max on paper, and you're paid you were paid 20 years ago, 23 years ago, $125 a week.
Well, but they will provide the food and everything, right?
Of course, yes.
Oh, okay.
So you need to have your own room. Your transportation. So you had a very old Volvo, red Volvo.
So the family paid you, or
the family
through
paid
Au
me?
Pair?
No. I mean, they paid the program, of course, because they need to select the right people. All the filing I did, the interview and stuff.
But they pay you then directly to you, the family.
Directly to me. No. So that's the thing. I was in a very, very good family. And I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure. I knew of au pairs in my area, because that's the thing about that program, is that, okay, you come in monthly batch, but once you're there, every month, you have one person that is responsible of the au pairs in your area. And so you meet other people in your area that au pairs that arrived 2 months before, or 6 months, or 10 months before.
Like a community.
Yes. It's a 12-month program anyway, so you cannot stay more than 12 months. And I can't remember. So the first thing we did, I remember, but the mother was working in the bank at the time. Well, not in the bank, but she was part of the executive in the bank. And she told me, well, we're going to pay you by check or whatever. So you need to open an account. And like when I think about it, we would do that. It's $125. You just give the cash to somebody, right?
Someone that is very well organized.
Yes.
Financially.
But
yeah,
it comes with the education, the whole thing. Like they wanted me to learn how to live, in the US, and what was a responsible thing to do.
Let me ask you something. Like everyone was paid the same?
Yes, in that program, yes. Okay. Yes. And of course, like it's families. So I knew some of them, they were doing extra hours and they were paid extra, which was like illegal in a way. Yeah. It was not part of the contract. And for me, I need to take care of the dog. That is not in the contract whatsoever. And the poor dog had seizures.
So why?
He was vomiting or pooping on the floor, like doing the seizures and stuff.
Like having what's the condition that you had?
Me? I was French.
Yeah, but besides from that, the one that you got...
Spasmophilia, which I didn't have when I was out of a confined room.
Okay, so probably the dog had spasmophilia.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was in Pennsylvania, middle of winter. I arrived in this family.
Needing warm.
Yeah, they welcomed me. They were like a conservative family. And
how do you know?
But because I talked with them, and during that time was Clinton, so they didn't like Clinton.
Yeah, of course.
But you know what? At the same time, they were like very open-minded because we would accept a French guy, and they know like at the time French they were like socialists to them.
Desperate
You know, like,
parents.
no, maybe I don't know, but
Desperate.
honestly, they were really open-minded, like, because they accepted a guy from France. Of course, there's a file like this, like the girls they need the file like they needed the file like this, and guys needed the file like that. But so once they were reassured, they picked me. But at the same time, I think they probably picked some girls before, and none of them said 4 boys. No, I'm not doing that. But they were really open-minded. Like we really got along. They saw really quick that I was responsible, very responsible. The kids were happy. They were a handful. At the beginning, I was having the 3-year-old all day long, and then he went to kindergarten or something, and I was, we were getting along. But the first month were really, really hard because it's not the same language. So I watched a lot of TV. I was watching MTV, which was not available in France at the time.
Oh, I love MTV.
I was watching Road Rules like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know Road Rules?
No.
Okay. Well, all the basic start of reality TV I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
So
you weren't watching Friends by then?
Yeah. I was watching Friends and Seinfeld mostly. Yes, but Seinfeld was really, very good.
So which was the background of like your other friends that they were au pair? Like kind of the same background they wanted to...
I think the main reason why they were doing this is to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had the career path in mind already, and they knew that they need to learn English to succeed. And for me, I was doing that to think about my future. Basically, it was like a way to think about what I wanted to do while learning, so not wasting my time.
So how?
But let me tell you something.
Please do so.
From the day I got my high school diploma until February,
Mm-hmm.
it was very, very hard for me. So I need to find a job
Mm-hmm.
because I was like basically doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All my friends were going to college. They all spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we were really close, well, you know what happened between high school and college. Everybody go their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like the only guy my age that was not going to college. And I didn't have any more social life at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing. So I found a job at, not a McDonald's, but a fast food burger thing in France. And that's all I was doing. And I was not doing like great. I was watching movies all the time. And I was feeling desperate because I was waiting every month to have an answer. So when I went, like I felt liberated. And so I took care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I saved my money. So I arrived in February.
You saved your money?
Yes. Well, like things were less expensive at the time too. I arrived in February. In April, I was already going to California to see my friend that I met
At San Jose?
in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great because I didn't know California. I loved it because compared to Pennsylvania.
Well, we love Pennsylvania.
Oh my God. And during the year I did that. I went to a trip in Atlantic City, like I think 10 or 12 times in New York. I did Philadelphia only 3 times because I didn't like Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, D.C. I went to Orlando, Miami, Tampa.
I want to go to Washington, D.C. a lot. I want to take my daughter to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we should go. Maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
So how much...
so I traveled a lot.
Did you think your English improved a lot
Yes,
within those months?
Yes,
within the year?
But more because of TV, basically, than because of the kids. Because honestly, the kids tie your shoes, go take a shower, brush your teeth.
And I
that's
think
it.
Probably with me, it's because kids are easy and they are not judging. Well, like when you talk,
Yeah.
or at least back then,
Yeah.
no? Because now my daughter, it's always correcting me.
Mm.
Your daughter, it's always correcting me.
Yeah.
Remember the other day she was telling my daughter, "Oh, I understand the struggle that you have with your mom." and she said that right in front of me. Like, oh, okay, that was very rude.
But that was hurtful at all. Thank you very much.
No, but I mean, probably back then it wasn't, because now kids, they can say, or they feel entitled to say whatever they think,
Yeah.
to speak their mind. But
Yeah.
probably back then it was easier for you because, kids weren't, it was easier for you to communicate with them.
And they
And to
they
learn.
wanted me to teach a little bit of French to them too,
Oh,
which was cool.
Did you?
I did not much. No.
Oh, see? You weren't giving back.
No, I mean, they were like really nice. They were a handful though. Really, there was always something going on, but I had a good time. The first few months were really hard. It was during
Which was the hardest thing?
winter, and it was really hard. Then, like having the group going together and being able to travel was easier. And on top of that, what really helped me during that time is that I was going to the movie theater, I think twice a week at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going at the library and renting while I'm picking some movies as well. But I always watch in French. And
The ones that you were asking me if I already watched, and I keep saying
yes,
no.
exactly. So during that time, I kept a list of movies that I watched, and I think I watched over 150 movies.
Well, I am
During
glad
that
you
year?
watched those movies, because now I am watching them.
And that's why my culture. And that's 97 movies I know because I think I watched them all in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was also something different for me. Like, people don't understand the difference between back then and now. Even if back then, like, the United States were a country that was far away. We don't online. Everything with internet now is, or what we see on TV, it's making it closer. We have direct information.
Yeah.
Before, it was only through magazines, newspaper. Like, internet was not established. It
Yeah.
is right now.
No.
And it was a totally different culture, a different way of living. Now I think it's getting about the same, but it was very, very, very different. It's hard to understand or to compute this for young people.
Well, probably now our 20 subscribers and the people
Yes.
that will listen to us, they probably understand this.
Yeah, but
this-
going to
this
the
is
movie
shocking.
theater was a totally different
Yeah,
experience
no,
in
and
the
it
US
was-
than it was in France.
But in Mexico too, it was like, oh, we're going to the movie theater. And when it was a really good movie, like the lines, it was like, what is going on? I remember when Titanic.
That was right at my year.
I mean, I
know you
never
don't like
liked.
it,
I
Emma.
never liked Titanic and
Titanic.
and I was like, no, I'm not going, because the lines were like hundreds of people waiting. And
Yeah.
and I remember in Mexico, this new company, Cinépolis, and Cinépolis, they just start with this IMAX and all these new big how do you say screens and the food in your they take your food into your, but it was a big deal.
Yes, it was new.
It was really new, and it was really expensive. Well, now it's expensive, but back in the days, it was super expensive to go to the movie theater.
It always got expensive.
And it was like, oh, this movie is going to be released, and you needed to wait. It was something that you wait for months. And I remember funny thing, I always wanted to watch Forrest Gump.
There was a build-up.
And I was waiting for Forrest Gump to be released for months. And I don't know why. It's not something that
it was a great movie.
Yeah, I know it was. I love that movie.
Yeah, I love it.
But for me, I was waiting for that movie to be released. Like, I was waiting and waiting. It's like probably for now it's people that waits for the Avengers or this type of movies, Batman or whatever.
But they were making premieres on TV, in the news. I don't know if you remember, but like back in the day, they were making like, oh, we have a special interview with Tom Hanks or what.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal in our country because we were not, we didn't have the David Letterman show or whatever.
In Mexico, it was in Channel 5 that they were having, or Telehit, it was a cable channel where all these new hosts and TV hosts, young ones, because they have fresh ideas. So they were doing something new, and they were interviewing. They were interviewing this type of big Hollywood artist to promote their movies. So of course it was a big deal. And now, because for my daughter, it's very easy. Like, oh, now they are releasing in HBO or in Apple.
Everything
Apple.
is accessible
Yeah.
like that.
They don't
There's no
think-
build up.
Yeah,
There's
I
no.
like- everything. It's like Prime.
Yeah,
Everything it's Prime.
everything is fine. You have it right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, like
Even-
like I was getting like not anxious, but I was getting excited. Like something would be released in a month or 2 months or 3 months,
And
and you
it-
were waiting for it, and it was like you are cherishing that moment.
Even I remember with my dad, we were going to buy CDs because my dad was avid CD buyer.
Yeah.
And we went to a place called Beethoven. Beethoven, yes. And it was a very nice CD or music store, like with nice and very high quality
Yeah.
headphones, and they have a studio for you to when you were a customer.
Yeah.
They will take you there. And my dad, I mean, he bought a lot of CDs, a lot. By that time, he had a very good sound system, Technics.
Yeah. Yes.
It was a very good one. So we were going there, and when my dad, I remember, he had the CD and the smell of it. He was enjoying that.
Yes.
And we were watching a movie that, what's the High Fidelity?
High Fidelity.
High
yes.
Fidelity.
I introduced you to High Fidelity.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it brought me back memories of how I was recording my favorite music, because it's not like now. Like you just go to Apple Music or whatever the platform you have to download your music.
Instantly.
You have it. But
Instantly.
back in the days, either you were asking your friend that you knew that he or she had money and they already buy the CD or the whatever. So you were like, please,
Can I make a
borrow?
tape? Oh, yeah.
Or you were listening to your radio station
And try to record it.
So you were like, shut up, don't talk to like.
And you never had like the full version, only the radio edit version.
Only the radio edit version. Or I remember my dad when he had like a lot of CDs, but also their tapes. So he would do a lot of tapes of music, because that was the only way to listen to the music in your car. And he was taking hours, even days. And he has this notebook, like in the movie. Like, okay, I'm going to record of country music, because my dad loves country music. So it was like John Denver, all these artists. I only remember John Denver, the Creedence or whatever. And he was doing his list. And then, okay, classical music. Beethoven, Mozart.
Yeah, how to classify classify them,
and he was like,
in what order?
And each of his CDs
Yes,
had a number
at the label
and a number.
Uh-huh.
So he knew when someone who took my 45
Uh-huh.
CD number 45,
Yeah.
and even his tape. So going back to what we were saying, that it's very hard to our kids now to understand that how difficult at that time was to have something new, to have something like just released, and how powerful it was for, I mean, at least for me, like I went to the premiere of this movie, or I had this magazine, or I just I don't know, I just bought the CD of this artist, and it was a big deal.
Yeah,
it was a big deal.
It was a huge hit, and it was bringing excitement, because you were expecting it and you heard about it. And I remember I was a big fan of magazines. I mean, a big fan. I love magazines. I love reading magazines, like not books that much, but magazines. I loved it. And then I was reading about something that was about to come out. And I remember even when I was an au pair, I was going to a mall in a special library where they had like movie magazines from France. And I would read them as well to know which French movies were coming out, to know what I would watch when I come back. And my passion for movies like started really when I started living on my own at 16. Before that, not so much. I mean, I love movies, but not so much. And then I get really like passionate about it. And when I came to the US, and first of all, the first big thing was that they had internet at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
By 97?
In 97, they had internet at home.
Oh, wow.
Kids were using it. And so when the kids were at school, I was using it, and I started going to movie buffs or whatever, forums, people talking about movies, and with recommendation, what were their favorite movies. Like forums, like, oh, your top 10 movies, and like High Fidelity, your top 5 music.
Which is your top 3?
So wait, because I mean, we're getting to the end right now, but I just want to introduce that I got into forums. So I was already interested in movies. I was going to video clubs a lot in France, and then I did the same, but going to the library and Blockbuster and to the movie theater. That was like my main activity. I didn't do any sports or whatever. It was only watching movies, and I went to forums, and then I was talking daily to people that had a different knowledge and culture about movies, and I started looking at their recommendation, taking it in the library, taking it Blockbuster, and that's how I built up my knowledge about movies. And as you said, everything was not easy to access to. In France, it was really hard to access to a lot of things. It got easier when I moved to the US, but what really, really changed my approach to everything is to talk online to people that were as passionate as I was. Because before internet, guys, you could be part of a club in your town. Imagine if you're like part of a small village or whatever. You only have like one person that is passionate about the same thing, or two. If you're part of a big city, you can find something. But once you had internet, like you had forums talking about a lot of different, very interesting people with very interesting topics that you could find. And I was spending hours on it because it was like the world was opening to me.
Yeah. I wish I could have that in the past.
Yeah.
In Mexico, but I did not. But I think that the things that I was able to get, I really enjoyed them. Like going with my parents to buy CDs, well, for my dad, or even, getting my MTV cards, because in Mexico, when MTV started, it was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I was watching Beavis and Butthead.
You had collector cards?
Yeah, for Beavis and Butthead.
Really?
And the smell, once you get that smell, I cannot describe. I mean, probably it's stupid. I was just liking Beavis and Butthead because it was a huge thing in the 90s. And the smell of the cards, the plastic smell, when you get new ones, you were like, oh.
We had that for soccer, the Panini cards.
Well, I don't know about that. But
you have a book, and then you buy cards by 5, and you should complete the book.
Yeah. I was having that, but...
And I had that for Michael Jackson as well.
Yeah, I bet you had.
I spent so much money on this thing. I told you, like in France, we had like the only Michael Jackson magazine in the world. Then they extended to Italy and Spain. And it was a trimestral magazine, so every 3 months.
Yeah, that's what trimestral means.
Yes, but that was the only information about Michael Jackson pre-internet information that we could get.
Reliable.
There was nothing else. It was only about Michael Jackson, and anyway. And one day, I think it was in 95, they released like this Panini-like book when you had cards. So when you were going to the, how do you call that? The magazine store or whatever. Like you have a lot of them in France. You could buy these cards like the Pokemon cards. You would buy Michael Jackson cards with the little story in the back or whatever. So I was I was collecting them. And of course, to complete the whole book, you need to buy like 4 times what is needed, or 5. And I was buying them like crazy. I spent so much money on it, like more than my mother would
give to you. So you took money from her?
No, I think it's the same time as I bought my camera when I started photography. I got money to pass my driving license, which cost about $2,000 in France.
What?
Yeah. and because you need to take driving lessons, it's mandatory. A camera, and then I had some leftovers that anybody that was like a genuinely good thinking what financially would save, and I would spend on.
So you spend it on Michael Jackson stuff?
Yeah, Michael Jackson cards, which I hope are worth something today because I don't have it here. My mother has it somewhere, and I hope they're worth something because I see Pokemon cards selling for $150,000
in mint condition.
In mint condition. But yes, so I think I talked a lot about myself today, and we're already an hour.
Okay, so thank you for listening.
So you had a whole subject that you're going to talk about next time. What is it going to be about?
Indirect consequence of COVID-19. So
we went from the moral thing, like we talked about it last time, like it mentally changes, especially with like.
I mean, mental. It leads you also to as well to physical, indirect illness and consequences. So. Stay tuned guys. Stay tuned. And I'm going to talk about logistics, which I'm very passionate about.
No, she's not. No, guys, don't worry.
Do you want to know how the things that you're wearing are in the shelves of the stores?
No, nobody cares. No.
You should care, but I won't talk about that because I know that
microphone is acting like my dick, always
always going down.
Going down. Nothing is exciting anymore in life.
Okay, well, make things happen.
Yes, and keep your dick hard. Oh, that could be a thing, but I'm not going to do it. No. Be good. Behave well,
and keep things hard.
Okay, bye.
Super right now.